Hey guys, happy Friday. If you are joining me on today's live, we absolutely have a really good one. I am super excited to join you all today because today, July 1st, is the anniversary of me publishing my first book, The Unemployment Guide: How a Setback Can Launch Your Career. I am immensely proud of this book. This book was something that I didn't plan, honestly, but going through my own unemployment journey, I knew that there weren't a lot of resources out there, nor were there a lot of people really sharing their stories about whether being laid off, might have been fired, or just really in a confused space where you're stuck in your career and you're trying to figure out your next steps, but nothing seems to be working. And so, on this 3 year anniversary, I wanted to share with you all my own top lessons that I've learned from not only experiencing being laid off, but also from writing this book and coaching clients into their own next step, guys. So I know in the news, a lot of you are hearing a lot of doom and gloom. You're hearing about the recession. Unfortunately, there have been a lot of layoffs within a multitude of sectors, whether that be tech. I'm seeing finance, real estate, and some other industries. And I know a lot of it is pretty negative out there. And I know some people are even thinking about holding on even tighter to their jobs and not trying to make any sudden moves, which can, in theory, look very smart, very strategic. But I also don't want you to think about your career planning from a place of fear. And that's what a lot of us do. We're very reactive, and we're also just very fearful of what might come or what could happen, that we don't even allow ourselves the opportunity to prepare for the things of right now for the future that we desire. So if you're joining in on this live, I definitely want you to pop on in, say hi. This is a celebration. We're going to be talking about my book. And if you are joining in for the first time, let me know that now in the chat, because I would love to talk to you offline just to see how things are going with you all. And then also just let me know where you're tuning in from. So if you don't know me, I know a lot of you probably don't know me, but my name is Melissa Flurry, and I am a career and executive coach of the branding career. And I've been doing this for a couple years now. And initially, I started off my business just doing resume writing and helping others land new jobs. But that quickly morphed into doing executive coaching because I noticed that a lot of people were stuck in jobs trying to build a career. And what does that mean? So many of us go to school, we get a degree, and we learn how to get a job, right? We know how to collect those paychecks, but most of us are yearning to be very impactful with the work that we do, right? We know that we've studied hard, we know that we've read a lot, we know that we've networked and researched, and we want to be able to have ownership over the projects that we're doing within corporate, and also being able to mentor and develop others that are on our teams, and even just having influence with the decisions and services that we provide for our communities. And many of us are not getting those opportunities. And it could be because maybe we're not ready, right? That's what a lot of our bosses like to say. We're not ready because we haven't proven ourselves and our skills and experiences. But I think that a lot of us just aren't positioning ourselves to show our expertise in a way that people are now looking at us as a leader and as a decision maker, and not simply just as an employee. So let me jump into this book. Let me jump into my baby, okay? This was a labor of love, okay? If anybody tells you that writing a book is easy, um, I'm sorry, they're lying to you, okay? And it's especially difficult when you have a full-time job and you have other opportunities. And when I wrote this book 3 years ago, I knew that it was something that a lot of people needed, and not necessarily those that were laid off, right? And the reason that I have the subtitle, How a Setback Can Launch Your Career, because maybe a layoff is not what's going to be the thing that sets back your career. It could be just a boss that's just not being very supportive. It could be health issues. It could be spousal and relationship issues. But there are a lot of things that hold us back within our careers that we deem that are going to be forever, when in actuality it's a stopping point for us to actually take inventory of what it is that we really desire. Now, if you are in a place where you've done all the right things, right? So you've gone to school, you've got your master's degree, you've got the additional certifications, like you're checking off all the boxes, but you're finding that you're not moving forward. And to be quite honest, you're realizing that this is not even what you really want to do with your career, right? And that's where I was when I opened up this book. So I was working for a company where I had been in the same role, maybe doing a little bit of different projects here and there for about 6, 7 years. And I knew at that point I did not want to be there. Didn't want to be there. At the time, I was actually applying to business school because I felt that getting my master's degree would be the thing that I needed to take me to that next level. And for some people, it is. But I knew for me, it wasn't necessarily about learning a new skill. It was really just about getting a piece of paper to validate me so that I could then be deemed worthy enough to get that 6 figure or whatever it is salary and title that it is that I desired. So as I open up the book, I decide to have a really positive day, right? How many of you know about deciding to have a positive day where work is getting on your nerves and you just decide, you know what? I'm not going to let these people stress me. I'm not going to, give into the texts and the emails and all those things. I'm going to come in and do my job well. Because one thing about me is that whether or not I like what I'm doing, I realize that my work is a reflection of me and I still wanted to produce excellent work. So I show up to work and I say to myself, all right, Melissa, do your job, do it with a smile, don't grumble. And by 9:30, I got a meeting invite, and that meeting invite, which I thought was a team invite, was my invite to be laid off from the company. And at that moment, I knew exactly what was happening because when you walk into a room with just one person and a piece of paper, you know what's happening. You're getting laid off. And I remember just saying to myself and just feeling like a sense of relief that, okay, now is a time for me to really figure out what I want to do and just go after it full throttle. And after getting my layoff papers and packing up my desk, which is pretty embarrassing, guys. Like, you really I know it's a sense of pride, and I talk about it in the book, but a lot of us, we may hate our jobs, but you want to be in a position where you actually leave your job before your job actually kicks you out, right? And I noticed that a lot of my identity, although I wasn't in love with my job at the time, but my identity was wrapped up in the fact that I thought that I was perceived as being responsible, as having a good job, as someone that is reliable and all of those things. But when you find that the thing that you thought validated you is no longer there to do those things, now you're left with just yourself. And being left with just myself to kind of figure out, okay, who am I, right? And I know that's a loaded question. And many of us might hear that in our relationships, close with your spouse or in church or any of those things. But you have to define and you have to, well, for me, you have to read about who you are, right? Like I had to really dig deep into my faith and figure out, okay, who is this God that I say that I serve, right? What is this Bible that I'm basing my life decisions on? And it's not about show anymore. And I know a lot of us are constantly just in a monotonous just routine of just clocking in and clocking out, going to church, going to dinner, going to brunch, doing all these things. But when have you actually decided to take a step back and realize and say for yourself, okay, who am I? And what is it that I desire? And for me, what are the desires that God has actually placed in my heart and in my life? Because those are the things that I'm going to go after. And so I leave that job and I'm left with just a lot of questions. And if you are someone that is laid off right now or have experienced a layoff or you're currently unemployed, the first thing I want you to do is not go out and start applying for jobs, right? Like that should not be your immediate plan of action. But the first thing I need you to do is stop, pause, and really think about what it is that you want next. Because you can either decide to just jump right into the rat race again and do the same things over and over again, or you can take this moment as a pivot for you to really go ahead and actually start doing the things that you've always wanted to do. Like at the end of the day, time's going to keep going and life's going to keep lifing. Life's going to keep happening. But why not give yourself an opportunity to do something different? And I know that there's going to be a lot of things happening to you. You're thinking about Sally Mae, you're thinking about your bills, you're thinking about the rent and all of those things. and all of those things will happen, right? All of those obligations will be met. But what about if you said to yourself for this day, all right, let me journal through all of my thoughts, right? I didn't appreciate the fact that I was let go. I didn't appreciate the fact that now, okay, I'm not sure where my next paycheck is coming from. But one thing that I can control are the decisions that I'm going to make for the future. And the decision that I decide to make for today is that I'm going to actually be honest with myself about the trajectory of where I desire my career to go. And so I really want you to focus on that because that's going to be the foundation of your plan moving forward. And I decided that. I was actually in the midst of making the transition from finance into commercial real estate. And I started taking classes and figuring out for myself, all right, this is the plan. I'm just going to stick with it. And that's the other thing, that a lot of us are very wishy-washy in what it is that we desire for ourselves in our careers, right? And if you're in a place and if you're making money where you've made some good money, you have some savings, you've experienced travel and all those other things, we like to default to a life of pleasure. And so when things get hard, we're like, oh, it's not that serious. I don't necessarily need that. I don't necessarily want to become a VP. I'm already making good money. Why should I rock the boat and change what it is that I'm doing? And truth be told, you don't have to rock the boat. But what's going to happen is that something's going to happen at work. Something's going to happen with your spouse. Something's going to happen in the economy. And you're going to say, dang, I wish I would have took the time to grab hold of the career that I really, really, really desire. And I knew for me that I had this inkling of I wanted to get into real estate. I wanted to get into commercial real estate. And I just decided to follow it. And following it for me, I knew that it wasn't going to happen overnight. And so I decided, okay, let me create a realistic career plan along with a realistic financial plan. And I actually get into it in the book because what happens with unemployment is that a lot of us just panic. And even as you're thinking about transitioning from one career to the next, or maybe you're deciding you want to start your business, we just kind of just go with no real plan on financially how long can we survive on the assets and savings that we actually have. And so within the book, I go through something I call the financial strategy. And one of the things that I do with the financial strategy, and this is something that you should be doing right now anyway, whether you have a job or not, is taking account of your expenses and how much does it take to actually live your current lifestyle. Let's not even talk about desired lifestyle because that's for my coaching clients. But how much does it take to live your current lifestyle, right? And so writing down through your rent, your housing, your car insurance, any debt that you have, and going through any other miscellaneous items that are reoccurring for you, you need to understand and you need to really be set on what is an actual need at this point, and organize your bills and your finances in a way that you can actually take account and to ask how much you actually have. And so as you go through your expenses, the next thing that you want to do is actually consider your income. So for those that are unemployed right now, you may qualify for unemployment benefits. And one of the things that you really want to do is understand your employment benefits as outlined by your state and how long you're able to qualify for those benefits. Not only how much, but how long. And taking that amount into account in addition to your savings, in addition to, if you need to, tapping into some of your retirement and investment accounts, and really thinking about, okay, how much can all of this actually cover my monthly expenses, which I've just calculated. And for me in that situation, I knew I had about 9 to 12 months before I even needed to tap into my retirement account. And so with everything that I had coming in, I knew that I didn't have to make an immediate decision into my career, right? I didn't have to jump into what it is that I already was doing just to bring in some income. And that gave me some cushion. So to know for myself that, okay, I can go to more networking events. I could take a bit more time as far as like going back to school to get a certification, whether that at the time I was looking at a project management degree certification, and just getting all of those things in order. And I know that that was extremely important for me because I didn't want to make any rash decisions. Because if you're thinking about rent that needs to be paid for next week, you're not thinking about, okay, how can I position myself to really land that product management position that I desire? You're just trying to pay the bills. And if you are in a position where, okay, I need to pay my rent next week, I need to pay my car insurance, my daycare for the kids, and all of that, then this advice might not fit immediately. But I do still want you to encourage. I still want to encourage you to one really have some control over your finances, but at least knowing how much is actually coming out the door each month. And so once I created my financial plan, the next thing that I did was create my career plan. So a part of creating my career plan is not only just researching online and reading books, but doing something that a lot of professionals don't like to do. And that is networking and building relationships. Like, I can't stress to you enough how much you get, how much clarity you get through conversations. And I find that I have people that say, I don't know what I want to do. I don't know what skills that I have. And I ask, like, who have you spoken to? Like, what conversations have you initiated? Because of those things, those conversations are probably going to really illuminate the missing puzzle pieces that you have. And so I really want to tell you and stress to you, like, excuse me, start having conversations, right? Start reaching out, and you can start small. You can start with your actual immediate network. So asking friends and family who can really point you in the direction of someone that works in tech, that works in finance, that works in operations, and starting off with conversations like that. And from there, you're just going to continue to ask for referrals or continue to build upon the relationship that you've initiated through that first conversation. One of the things that I did was that, and I'm always going to talk about it, is LinkedIn. Like, LinkedIn is a gold mine. Like, LinkedIn is the place for you to reach out to people that you don't know. It's also the place for you to just shoot your shot, right? You never know who's going to respond to your messages, but no one is going to respond to your messages if you never send one. Okay. So if you don't put yourself in a game, you don't position yourself to win. And I knew that I was going to send messages, I was going to reach out. Whether or not they responded, that wasn't in my control. The only thing that I could control was being proactive and positioning myself to have really good conversations with those that I knew could point me in the right direction or even present an opportunity. And to be honest, I was really in a space of just learning. I just wanted to learn the lingo. I wanted to learn the industry. I wanted to learn the big players that were in commercial real estate. It really had nothing to do with me really seizing an opportunity, because I also knew that no matter what, I could get a job. I could find a job, right? That wasn't it. For me, I was really, really focused on building a career. I wanted to really be proud of what it is that I did 9 to 5, Monday through Friday. And so I wanted to make sure I was making the right decisions by having good conversations with those that were in the career that I desired. And so I want to really present the same thing to you, that if you're in a place where it's like, it's not working, it seems like I'm just doing all of these things, like, the mundane tasks will produce discipline that you need for later activities. And if you can't put yourself in a position where you're really betting on yourself by doing the work for yourself, doing the hard work where no one's really giving you credit, where recruiters might not be answering your emails, or people might not be answering your phone calls or messages, then you're not going to do the disciplined work in order to continue to grow in your career. And that is something that, and now that I'm thinking about it, it is really where self-integrity comes into play, right? A lot of us have been asking ourselves, like, I want to be more confident when I'm public speaking. I want to be more confident in, sales and closing deals and all of these things. But it's really hard to be confident when you aren't keeping the promises to yourself, right? So when you tell yourself, I'm going to network with 5 people a week, or you tell yourself, I'm going to do my resume this weekend, and you don't do it, you're constantly saying to yourself, you know what? I can't even trust myself, so I'm not going to be confident. And it's the little things that you need to do. And it's the little things that'll show you that, okay, you know what? I might not have done this thing before, but I've kept my promises to myself by doing the little things, by disciplining myself in order to accomplish those things, right? And so there is a lot of work that needs to happen when it comes to career development. And a lot of that is personal development. What do your routines look like? And I'm going to go back to discipline, because discipline is something that doesn't just happen one time, but discipline is something that you're going to need to constantly work at as life continues to change. One thing for me, like my morning routines are so important to me. I've noticed that if I do not have complete my morning routines, the rest of my day is really, really difficult to get through. And I'm in a position where I'm noticing that, okay, if I'm in a bad mood, or I find that I can't think so much, then I'm realizing that, okay, I didn't work out, I didn't pray, I didn't read and go into my place of worship. And so those things open up a capacity for me in order to be better, right? And so being disciplined in your routines is going to help you to be disciplined and have greater impact at work and within your careers and with other people. And so the last point that I want to make is that you have to prepare now for change. And I know a lot of us. Actually, let me stop into the comments. I see a couple of people are online. Oh, hey Caleb, how you doing? Someone said it's the little things you do and commit to that create discipline. Absolutely. So you want to prepare now for change. So I find that as a coach, and I've been doing this for about 4 or 5 years now, officially, that a lot of people come to me when emergencies happen, right? Mel, I just lost my job. Mel, my boss is getting on my nerves. Mel, I can't do this, right? So just put Mel, and then whatever it is prompting you to reach out to me. And I'll ask some questions. I'll say, okay, well, how long have you been feeling like this? Oh, I've been feeling like this for a couple years, but it just wasn't that serious. And I'm like, a couple years and you just now reaching out, right? So like, can you imagine, like, health wise, if your arm was bothering you, if your arm was broken for a couple years, and then you decide to go to a doctor, and the doctor's like, why did you wait so long? You're just saying, oh, I was just dealing with it. You wouldn't do that. So why are you doing this with your career? If you know you're underpaid, if you know you're undervalued, if you know, like, you have an instinctual knowing that this is not working out, then why haven't you done something for it? Something about it. Why haven't you reached out to a coach? Why haven't you started to read books? Why haven't you started to watch the YouTubes and the podcasts that can position you for another level? Like, all of that starts now. Okay. And the longer that you wait to prepare for now, the longer that you're going to sit in your same situation. And so a lot of my clients are coming to me because they're preparing for change now. When they join the Career Catalyst, it's not because they're trying to get a quick job, right? They're joining the Career Catalyst because they want to learn about their skills, position themselves in the right way so that they can be perceived as the leaders that they are and command the type of salary that they know that they deserve. They're preparing for that change right now, right? They're going through the hard work of working on their soft skills. They're going through the hard work of releasing the familiar, right? A lot of us like to jump into these lateral positions to feel like we're making progress. But in all actuality, we need to be chasing after, I don't even want to say chasing after, because that's not what we do, but really situating ourselves to be presented with these leadership and stretch assignments. That's what we need to be doing. Becoming a leader is not an overnight process. Becoming a leader is really built on foundations and the building blocks of what it is that you do now. And so if you're one of those people saying, you know what, I desire to get a promotion within the next 6-12 months, right? You should be preparing for that now. And I'll be honest, shameless plug, join the Career Catalyst now. Because what you'll find is that you'll get to your mid-year, your year-end evaluations, and your job's going to tell you, you know what, good job. Here's that 3% raise, if that. Because a lot of jobs right now are just in a place of, if you want to leave, you can leave. This is what we can give you. And then there are other organizations that really can see your value and will say, you know what, we're going to give you 2 times more, 3 times more, the more than what you're currently earning, because we see your potential and we see the value that you can bring our organization. And I'm not saying this just to say this, right? I'm actually saying this because I'm watching my clients step into director positions. I'm watching my clients move into 6-figure salaries without getting a master's degree. I'm watching my clients double their salary. I'm watching my clients who were in the career catalyst 2, 3 years ago still reap the benefits of the things that they learned now in a recession. My clients aren't worried about a recession because they know exactly what they need to do. God forbid they get laid off. And also if they desire to make a career change, because these are the skills that you're learning that really just repeat themselves, that you can take and say, you know what did I learn about rebranding myself? What did I learn about salary research? What did I learn about networking with other professionals? What did I learn about executive presence? What did I learn about public speaking? Like, these are the things that my clients are learning, and really not only learning, but implementing in their day to day so that they can get the steps and practice to be disciplined for later opportunities. And so I know that was a lot today, but I just am extremely happy and extremely, I guess I'm just extremely proud of myself. And that's something that I don't say a lot, but I'm extremely proud of myself that I was really just consistent enough to publish this book, because this book really was the foundation of not only my business, but this book was the foundation of my career and countless others. You can find my book on Amazon as well as my website, thebrandedcareer.com. Um, like I said, this book is not only for those that have been, I don't know why I can't get this in the screen, maybe because it's blocking my face, but this book is not only for those that are laid off or unemployed, but it's really for anyone that desires to make a career change and is trying to figure out, okay, how can I actually prepare to do those things now? Also, you've heard me talk about the Career Catalyst. If you are interested in joining the Career Catalyst, book a call with me today, right? Prepare for your change right now. And we can see if the Career Catalyst is the right fit for you to move into a leadership role within corporate America and position yourself for a leadership role within your job, or whether that be a promotion or an external role, and get you to a place that you're walking in a place of just knowingness that you're in the right career. So, guys, it is a Friday. We're tapping onto July 4th weekend. I don't want to hold you too long, but if there's something that you've learned that really resonated with you in this live, go ahead and post that in the chat. Send me a DM for more information about the Career Catalyst. And once again, go ahead and purchase your copy of the Unemployment Guide. Have a good day. Bye.